Okay, so we're going to take a look at this igniter. This igniter was reported to be popping the GFCI, which is a ground fault circuit interrupt, and also he reported that it popped the breaker. Okay, and they may be related, but I don't think so. Usually a GFCI pops. I mean, it could pop under load if it's got too big of a load, but usually the GFCI pops if for some reason your neutral is getting bypassed and it is getting shorted to ground. And when I was doing my testing, I didn't see any problems on mine, but I think we might have a problem, and I'm going to zoom in here, and we're going to take a look here. Sorry it's taking so long. Let's see. Can you guys see that okay? All right, so what we got here is, sorry, I'm trying to do this through the camera. So if you see right here, I've been kind of poking around with my screwdriver, but I noticed there was some melt. This is heat shrink right here, and the spring, if you remember, goes right through here to hold it to the burn pot, right? And I noticed it was melted a little bit where the spring was touching this heat shrink. And like I said, when I was testing it, I tested it for 8 hours and didn't have any problems. And so I didn't think anything about it, but testing and real life scenarios are two different things, right? So anyway, I see it had melted, and I was looking at it through my microscope, and then I just kind of dug in it because I noticed that you could see where the spring had melted the heat shrink. It didn't look like it was touching the metal, but I dug into it a little bit, and you could see that it was super duper close. It may be close enough that it could arc across it, and that is probably what is causing the GFCIs to pop, because it will detect that short. It's not enough to throw the breaker, but it'll detect that short and it will trip the GFCI. So it's doing its job. So yeah, we've got a bit of a problem with that. So you might be asking yourself, what's the fix? Well, for the the current draw, I've got a inquiry into the manufacturer, see what they say. But the fix for the spring touching the heat shrink right here, I'm going to start installing a fiberglass heat shield. Okay, and I know it looks a bit ratty, but it'll do the job. And what this will do, this heat shield is good up to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. It's spec'd out at. And it's kind of like if you have headers on your car and you don't want it to, your spark plug wires to touch your headers. That's kind of the same stuff, right? It just protects your wires from the hot headers. And that's the same thing that this thing is doing, is as this igniter gets hot, even with the fan running, that spring has just enough thermal energy that it's melting into the heat shrink, and I think is causing the GFCI problems. Like I said, I don't think it's directly shorting, but I think it's getting close enough where it might arc across it and cause GFCIs to trip. So that's what I'm going to do. So the people that have these, I will either send these heat shields out and they can install them themselves, or they can send the burn pot and igniter back to Muxall and we will install them for them. Okay, so there you have it. Problems do occur, but we will get everyone fixed up, I promise. Talk to you later.